Hello, I was asked if I can make an overview of my Traxxas Slash. And yes, of course, I can do this. I'm here with all my other cars and planes in my hobby room, and here is my Traxxas Slash. With that I had a very good race at the last NRW Off-Road Cup. So let's open the body. As you can see, I have these ProLines nuts. They're really quite good, but you really have to tighten them hard that they won't get lost. So body is still the body with that the car came. That's why it looks so used. I have already a new one, an original Traxxas Slash body, clear, but I haven't painted it yet. Here first you can see it's the low center of gravity chassis, the blue one. Then I have the ProLine suspension kit. The ProLine suspension kit has the rear A-arms, the hub carriers in the rear, and the rear shock tower, the front shock tower, the front A-arms, and the hubs in the front. Furthermore, the turnbuckles belong also to the ProLine suspension kit. But overall this ProLine suspension kit is not very good, because here I had to Dremel a lot to clear the A-arm for the wheel, because the ProLine A-arms are too thick in the front and they wrap on the inside of the wheel, and you have less turning radius, which is very bad for a race car. And at least it's still rubbing here, and at least I will go back to the original Traxxas Slash A-arms. The shock tower is, in my opinion, too soft. You can flex it very easy, as you can see. So you have an additional spring to the normal shocks, and for a race car this should be hard to have a more direct feeling of the car. In the rear you can see here the RPM gearbox. I use this because it has a metal part where the motor is mounted, and the original is completely made of plastic. The shocks originally belong to my X-Ray XB4, front and rear. They are a little bit short for short course, because the original shocks, especially in the rear, are longer. But if you drive on high grip surface and you want to have a low car, it's good, and they work fine, are very smooth. But actually the original Traxxas Slash shocks will get into the car back again, because I need these shocks as spare parts for my X-Ray XB2, because yes, my XB2 in the last race I destroyed a shock piston, and so I will use the originally XB4 shocks as spare parts for my XB2. So let's go to the electronics. servo. Let's see, it's cheap servo. It's a Bluebird servo, but it's fast and strong enough for this car and works very well. I cannot complain about it. The servo horn is a servo horn which comes with the Ace RC DS1015 servo. It's cutted below here, and this fits very good, and it has hard plastic, and so it doesn't strip, and this combination works here very well. ESC is an old Hobby Wing SCT Pro. This looks a little bit used because I had this originally in my short course 4x4, the Losi 10 SCTE, and it fall out during a race, and that's why it looks a little bit used and crappy, but it's still working, so it's okay. Here the original Traxxas receiver box. It's a receiver for my Spectrum DX3R, and motor. Motor is a Hobby King Trackstar 6.5 ton motor. Works very good in this car. It's geared quite low because it's 6.5 ton is quite big motor for a short course truck, but it's fast, and if I put my LRP 7500 stick lipo in it, it is so fast on the straight. The green springs here are Losi springs, which come, I think, originally from the Triple X2 or something like that, because the Losi springs, the old Losi springs, fit to the original Traxxas Slash shocks, and the green ones are the hardest ones, but I use this on the low grip surface, and they are still very soft, and because the weight of the car is quite high, so this worked quite good. And in the front, these are X-ray springs with 3 dots, so these springs belong to the shocks. That's all I have in this truck. I have some tuning parts. The Proline suspension kit, as I said, I do not recommend it. Actually, I bought it to have the same width front and rear axle, but you can also use RPM A-arms for the rear. They are also longer, and then you can use also front tires to rear, and vice versa, because the original A-arm is not so wide, and you have a different offset at the original Traxxas wheels, rear to front. All the drivetrain and so on is completely stock. I changed nothing. Diff is the same, axles are the same from the original. Nothing broke. It's such a durable car, and I really love this old truck. And it's now, I think I bought it in 2010 or even 2009, so it's really, really old. And I bashed with it, I raced it, I bashed it again, and now it's once again back in racing. And this makes just fun to drive with this old car and to be competitive. So thank you very much for watching, If you haven't already, don't forget to click the subscribe button to see more of my Traxxas Slash and of course my other cars. See you, bye bye.